Hey Dance Peeps, Nikki here from the Lunchtime Shimmy. Thank you so much for joining me in this supplementary video about belly dance posture. Belly dance posture is as unique as the dance style itself. It does take a little bit of a minute to get yourself into it and get yourself comfortable. There's a little bit of a checklist that we're going to go through to get you there, and hopefully with repetition you'll find that you settle into the saddle exactly where you need to be. There's a couple of rules for belly dance posture that are the key rules to remember above all else things. And those rules are: never lock your knees. No straight locked legs. That is the biggest rule of all. The second one is no arched back, no tilting pelvis. So these things are designed to keep our legs and our back, our knees and our back safe, as well as allow movement through our body to happen without any obstructions. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the straight leg thing for a second, because people don't always know what we mean. So most people stand in hyperextension, which means they're pushing their legs quite far back, which actually causes a little bit of the pelvis to tilt down, and everything here is locked. We kind of walk around like so. In belly dance, we actually take these knees as if somebody's flicked them, and we relax them so that the body can move. As soon as the legs go from hyperextension, more often than not, when you relax them, the pelvis actually already settles down and tilts into a more natural position. Then we go in furthermore and tilt the pelvis again, which we'll talk about in a second. The reason we want our legs relaxed is we want to be able to move them. And if they're straight, they hinder our ability to movement. Yes? Okay. So let's go into the checklist. Number 1, feet. Feet are hip width apart, and hip width is about the width of your hand in a fist, kind of like your heart. Okay? That's just a good guide to start with. You might have to adjust a little bit more or less, but nobody should be out here. Your internal hips are not that wide. So you're going for the natural hip line. Your hips are on top of your feet. Then from there, soft bend in our knees, allowing those knees to dip a little bit. Not going into a squat, just allowing them to dip a little bit. So, number 1, feet, hip width apart, legs, soft bend in the knees. Third is pelvis. From here, we're going to take our pelvis and we're going to activate our pelvic floor and tilt the pelvis up. Be careful not to activate from the belly. We're just going to tilt that pelvis up so that it's flat and that the tailbone is pointing flat straight up the back. Straight up and down, and straight back front this way. So, number 1, feet, hip width apart, soft bend in the knees, pelvis tucked, glutes relaxed. Number 4 is our abdominals. So we're straight, lengthening out our torso. This causes us to open up our ribs, but we want to close them, but we don't want to stitch them together so that we can't move them. So we're just going to take them from expanded open to a closed position. This as well flattens out our back. So from the top, soft bend in our knees, pelvis tucked, elongating the torso, which causes those ribs to open up. We don't want an arch back, so we're going to close those ribs, and that just relaxes the back. There's nothing in the back muscles being activated. The upper abs might have to contract just a little bit to bring the ribs closed. Now our collarbone is open, and our shoulders are rolling back and down the back, so that they're laying flat along the spine. The arms are coming down to the side, and the chin is parallel to the floor, eyes looking forward. And then it's as if somebody elongates our body at the top, as if they're pulling a string on top of our head. Shaking that all out. Flat feet, hip width apart, soft bend in your knees, pelvis tucked, elongating the torso, closing the ribs. Flattening the collarbone, shoulders roll back and down, arms to the side, chin parallel to the floor, and then from here, arms just drift into a low, soft second, which is directly off the sides of your hips. I'm going to go into posture from the back, rolling everything out so you can see what it's like in the back. Feet are hip width apart. Relax my knees. Tuck my pelvis, elongate my frame, close my ribs, roll my shoulders down and back, open my arms, soft second, chin parallel to floor, elongate frame. Release So, like I said, belly dance posture is not the most comfortable, it's not the easiest posture, but it is a specific posture, and it does require these points of reference. Feet hip width apart, soft bend in your knees, pelvis tucked under, torso elongated, ribs closed, collarbone open, shoulders rolled back and down, chin parallel to floor, arms in soft seconds. So it's about 8 components, and then 9 if you count elongating one more time. 9 components to get us into posture. And then of course this posture switches. We hold that posture all the time. It just moves inside of our dance movement. So practice and you'll get it. If you have any questions, drop me a message. Have a good day.